A judge has granted a request by former President Donald Trump regarding an independent review of the documents that the FBI took from his Florida home last month. Yesterday, the judge granted the request for a special master despite strong objections from the Justice Department. The independent review will include a focus on any documents that may be protected by attorney-client privilege. And joining us now is Amber Athey, Washington editor for The Spectator. Amber, welcome back. Good to see you. Let's talk about the decision to allow a special master to review those documents. How significant is that, and why did the Department of Justice object? What was the reasoning there?
Sure. So this is highly unusual and no doubt a huge victory for former President Donald Trump. He has, of course, objected to the entire search, claiming that he was cooperating with the Department of Justice on the return of potentially classified documents or documents that would otherwise be held as presidential records by the National Archives, and claims that the search warrant was executed unjustly and that most of the documents that the Department of Justice was actually looking at were already declassified by him while he was already in office. But the Department of Justice is objecting to the appointment of a special master because they want to be able to get in immediately and start reviewing the documents themselves. And this is going to delay that process because this special master gets to actually go in and look at which documents might be covered under attorney-client privilege. President Trump is also asking for them to sort out documents that might be subject to executive privilege. And so they're going to filter out quite a bit of materials before the DOJ even gets to look at them.
Amber, what comes next in this case? I mean, is there any sort of, timetable as far as the special master's review?
It's not clear exactly how long the review will take, and the Department of Justice still has the opportunity to appeal this decision. So this could be held up in court for even longer, which would delay the process even further. So we're possibly looking at weeks, if not months, from the time the DOJ first seized these documents from Mar-a-Lago before we actually have a good idea of what's in these boxes that they took outside of the selective leaks that have gone out to the media.
Something else I want to get your take on. Over the weekend, Chicago's Mayor Lori Lightfoot criticized Texas Governor Greg Abbot, essentially saying busing migrants to her city and others goes against the teachings of Christianity. Help us unpack that. And why do you think she chose to use religion to kind of hit back at Governor Abbot?
Yeah, it's really interesting that I think the elected officials who least follow Christian principles or don't even consider themselves Christians are often the ones who try to use religion as a bit of emotional blackmail against people whose politics they don't like, in particular against conservatives and Republicans. And when you look at the response to Governor Abbott sending illegal immigrants to elsewhere in the country, it's quite interesting that liberals and Democrats who denied that there was a crisis at the southern border are now proclaiming that it is a crisis when these people show up in their districts or in their states. Mayor Eric Adams in New York City is a great example, who received just about 50 migrants recently and claimed that New York needed a boatload of federal money to be able to house them, even as New York City already has about 1 million plus illegal immigrants within its borders. So they are pushing back on Greg Abbott out of political expediency and not out of any fact-based analysis of the situation.
We only have about a minute or so left, but I quickly want to talk about some big news across the pond. As reported earlier, the United Kingdom has a new prime minister now. What can you tell us about Liz Truss and also those pressing issues that she's going to have to tackle now?
Yeah, so Liz Truss has had a lot of comparisons to Margaret Thatcher. I'm not sure how accurate those are. She is a free market liberal, but she's also been criticized of waffling, particularly on the Brexit issue. She was initially for remaining and then was for Brexit. But her big issue is going to be helping Europe through the energy crisis. So conservatives might be happy that they finally got over their weeks of chirping at each other and getting someone in position. But it's time to immediately get to work for them to help the UK get over the high energy prices and the rising cost of living.
Okay, we're going to leave it right there. Amber, thank you so much. We appreciate your insights, as always.
Thank you.